Okay, so what we're going to be doing for this section is we're going to be having an introduction to integers. So first of all, we need to know what an integer is. An integer is a number that can be classified as a whole number and a real number. As you proceed through high school math, you'll get to Algebra 2. And in Algebra 2, we'll actually talk about numbers that aren't real numbers. They're called imaginary numbers. But for now, we just know that an integer is also classified as a whole number and a real number. Integers are positive and negative. And here's a number line. When you have a number line, you always have 0 in the center. Positive numbers are on the right. And negative numbers go to the left. The farther on the right you are, the bigger the number. So bigger numbers are on the right also, which means they're more positive, and smaller numbers are on the left. Now for this section, there's going to be a couple things you have to do. The first thing we have to do is we have to do things in ascending order. Ascending order is when you write numbers in order from smallest to biggest. Now we're going to do an example here, and when I do the example, I'm going to show it with a number line because I think some people will need a number line. If you're good with integers, you may not need the number line. But if you're not sure how to do it, draw the number line. It only takes a little bit, but it's really helpful. So let's say, okay, so I have these numbers. I don't put all the tick marks, I'll put the tick marks, but I don't number things until I actually put the number on the graph. Okay, so let's see. So -3, 1, 2 is right here. -3. 2, 1, 2 is right here. 4 is right here. -4, there's one more past. And then 1. So now I have to go from smallest to biggest, and smallest to biggest is going this way. So my number that's smallest is -4, then -3, then 1, then 2, then 4. It's a little confusing having these two arrows. So I'm going from smallest to biggest. You can also think about integers as how much money you owe or how much money you have. Anything that's negative means you owe somebody money. Anything that's positive means you have money in your pocket. Okay. The other way you have to write things is descending order. This is the one that most people remember because descending just means to go down. And so if you have a hard time with ascending, remembering that, just remember, oh, descending is down, so ascending has to go the other way. So this is when you write the numbers in order from biggest to smallest. Okay, same thing. I'm going to do a number line because a number line is helpful for people. You see, I'm not too technical. I'm just kind of making the things so that they fit on there. So let's say we have a 2, a -1, a 0, a -2, and a 3. Okay, so let's graph these now. 2 is right here. -1 is to the left one. 0, I'm going to put it in red just because I'm putting my colors in red if they have a dot. And then -2, and then +3. So we're going down. So this time you have to start at the biggest number. And the biggest number is the number on the right, which is 3. And then I'm going to move to the left. I'm going to go down. And so 3, then 2, then 0, then -1, then -2. Okay? All right, so now what I want you to do is I want you to go to that other piece of paper in our notes where we wrote the word examples. And I would like you to do these 4 examples. Once you think you have it, press play. Okay, so again, I drew the number lines for people because some people are going to like that. If you didn't need the number line, that is totally fine. Okay, so I'm going to graph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is going to go here. -3, 2, and then -6, 4, 5, 6. Ascending means going up, so my smallest number is -6. Oops, I forgot one. Look at that. I forgot the 1. -3, 1, 2, and 5. Okay. When we look at the second one, I threw in some decimals. Decimals shouldn't mess you up. You just have to know to go a little bit past or not go all the way. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, still good. -2.5. So here's -2, here's -3. So that means I'm going to go past 2, and I'm going to go halfway to 3. So -2.5. And then I have a -1, a +3, and a 0.4. A 0.4 means I go past 0, but I don't make it all the way to 1. So I'm just going to put it right here. And if it's not in the exact spot, that's okay. As long as it's somewhere in between, it helps you see the order. So ascending is from small to biggest. So -2.5. Here's the answer. -1, 0.4, 3, and 4. Okay, same idea, descending, but descending, remember you're going down. Okay, so -2, there's -2's right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go ahead and mark this 7 while I'm here because I'm so close to it and I thought about it. And then I have a -3, 1, and 0. So descending, you start at your biggest one and you work your way down. So I have 7, 5, 1, 0, -2, and -3. Excuse me. All right, last one. Let's see. -1.5 means I go past -1, but only halfway there, because that's what 0.5 is. It's just half. And then I have a 2. And then I have a 1, 2, -3. Now what are we going to do with this? 5 divided by 2? Well, you can use your calculator to figure that out. Some of you might know what it is. It's 2 1/2, which means it's 2.5. So that means I go halfway past 2. Now here's the thing. I know that it's 2.5, but you need to write what the original thing was, which was 5/2. So you can't change it. You need to write what the original was. Even though you found out what it is as a decimal to help you graph it, you still need to, when you write it in order, we're going to write the original. And then 3. Ooh, those numbers are close together. So descending is going down, so my biggest number is 3, then 5/2, then 2, then -1.5, then -3. Okay, so ascending goes up, descending goes down. Use a number line if you need to. It does help you, and it only takes a few seconds. Okay, let's go up to the last section of our notes. Go back, so it's going to be back on the previous page of where you were writing ascending and descending. Now what we're going to talk about is less than and greater than symbols. So I know that some of you have learned less than and greater than maybe with the alligator. I always get those things backwards. That method never really sank in with me, so I teach it a different way. If you understand the alligators and it works for you on a regular basis, then you can use it. But if I notice that you're starting to get things wrong with your alligators, then I am going to help you learn my system and try that out. Okay, so a less than equality, the inequality points to the small, oh, that's a highlighter. That's not what I wanted. To the smaller number. So 7 and 2. 2 is definitely smaller than 7, so it points to the 2. 3 and 8. 3 is definitely smaller, so it points to the 3. -5 and -9. Well, -5's here, -9 is way down there. So the smaller number is actually -9, so I point to the smaller number. So you always want to point to the smaller number, okay? Greater than inequalities or signs is when it's open or big at the big number. You can see that right here. Each of these, you see how it's open and big at 7? Because 7's bigger. Open and big at 8 because 8's bigger. Open and big at -5 because -5 is bigger. So you can think about it that way and you can kind of see what's going on. It has to be bigger at the bigger number. So let's see, 4, well, that's really thick. Shows the wrong marker. 4 and 9, it's open at the bigger one. And look what happens. It points to the small one. So you don't really have a new rule to learn. All you have to think is, okay, I got to point to the small number. And whenever I point to the small number, it makes it open at the big number. All right, let's go down, go back to your other piece of paper where it says examples, and let's finish our examples. I would like you to try and fill in these inequalities. Remember to point to the smallest number. There is also a number line there if you'd like to draw a number line because it helps you understand that. When you think you are ready, press play. Okay, so we have to make it point to the smaller number. I'm going to put some dots on the number line so you can kind of see what I mean by that if you're a little confused. So I got 2 and -5. The smaller number is the number farther on the left because smaller numbers are on the left. Smaller, bigger. And so it's going to point to -5. Okay, let's look at the next one. -3 and 4. The number that's farther on the left is -3, so I'm going to have it point to -3. Erase. -2 and -5. Now this is where sometimes people will make mistakes because there's two negatives. A -2 and a -5. The number that's smaller is the number that's farther on the left, so the -5 is smaller. So I point to the -5. And lastly, a -4 and a -3. The number more on the left is -4, so I point to the -4. So with inequalities, remember the rule to point to the smaller number. For both of these types, some of you are going to want to use number lines because it just helps you visually see it, which sometimes helps you understand it better.